back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today I have Basile from Legends of the Past. How you doing today, Basile?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure to discuss about gaming, Web3, HBAR. So it's going to be fun.
It's very exciting. You guys are one of the up-and-coming HBAR projects, but I know that your mobile game it's mobile. It's not on desktop. It's for anybody in a sense. Anybody can play this game, even if you're not familiar with crypto. And I love that about it. So you mind telling me more about Legend of the Past?
Yeah, sure. So indeed, Legend of the Past is a mobile game. And I think we're one of the few, maybe only mobile game on being built at the moment on HBAR. So you'll be playing with historical figures, people that have shaped history throughout the ages, whether that be some kings and queens, soldiers, philosophers, artists from all around the world. So at the moment, we have only revealed our first legend, Cleo, but it's not Cleopatra, it's Cleo. It's an alternate version of Cleopatra that you've studied in school, because our Cleo has access to the throne of Egypt, but on her own through boxing in Muay Thai. And so you'll be playing with historical characters in a multiplayer PvP mobile game, so embodying and battling with your legends against other legends in historical arenas that could be related to your legends or other legends. And we have PvP, a competitive mode where you'll be fighting against other characters, but also some co-op mode in which you'll be teaming up with other legends to fight some boss to together win the ultimate artifact of this boss.
Incredible. So although it might not be Cleopatra, is this Cleo still a real person that lived at one point on this earth?
Well, yes, but not in our timeline, not in our reality.
Just from the past, potentially. Yeah, Legends of the Past, hence the name.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Do you know when were they living by chance?
She comes from an alternate reality. So technically,
all right.
Cleo has lived at the same time than our Cleopatra, but from an alternate reality, like a multiverse parallel.
Gotcha.
So she has a lot of similar traits as Cleopatra. The way she dressed, the way she dressed, how she looks like, but her temperament and how she has evolved is unique. It's her personal life, and she has access, and she's a Muay Thai king boxer.
Amazing.
Boxer.
That makes complete sense. So I'm curious now to know, what is your experience in the past with, developing out a mobile game, and how have you utilized your previous experience to build out now Legends of the Past?
Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, I've been working with Neil, a very close friend and CTO of our game, for the last 4 years. Yeah, more than 4 years of working together. And together we've built two first games before Legend of the Past. Those were educational games. The last one is still online on the App Store. It's called Play Learner 1914. And so basically you were running in the trenches of World War One, avoiding obstacles, avoiding enemies in the trenches. And at some checkpoints, a colonel would appear, ask you some questions through quizzes about the war. And if you answer correctly, he would reward you with ammunition and rifles that helped you survive along the way. And so we've created this mobile game first to French middle school. And then we sold it actually to French middle school, who was using it in class to either mobile or with tablets. So our first real experience from a business perspective comes from this first educational mobile historical video game that we sold direct to parents and then middle school. But that was our first experience. Now with Legend of the Past, we have leveled up a lot our team by recruiting first our art director, which is amazing, who has a huge gaming experience coming from many of the greatest studios in the world, starting at Ankama, then moving into Supercell and other studios that I even cannot say the name. And having this amazing talent has brought a lot, obviously in a gaming perspective, but also in the way of design, but also of how to build, a game. Like his experience, because like we've built an indie game, like we were 10 in our previous game, so that we did something great. But having people like Kim, Thomas, and other people who have joined us recently are people that have like 20 years in experience in the gaming industry, knows the overall pipeline of a real AAA mobile game, the production pipeline with the different steps and the different, production needs, what the production actually needs. And so that's huge. So first, we managed to hire Marvin and Kim, who helped us during the pre-production, define the art, the gameplay, what did you want to do, and started to build the prototype. But moreover, what's amazing is, since they were like enjoying what we were doing together, they attracted other people who used to work with them in the past in other gaming companies. And those highly talented individuals are now working together on Legend of the Past, building the beta. And so right now, again, we couldn't be happier and thrilled and amazed by our team. And sometimes we look back and we say, how did we manage to gather those people? And I think something that is important is in our gaming studio, we value a lot the freedom and openness, and everyone in our team, whether like you'd be an intern, a programmer, an artist, wherever you come, you'll have a say in what you think is best for the game. And so we're not a top-down gaming studio that gives like straight guidelines, which is often the case in most like gaming studios, talented gaming studios. And so I think our key members enjoy this sense of freedom and having the possibility to create something that they will actually want to play for themselves and not simply obeying to like their superior, so to say.
That's incredible. And I'm a big fan of that, the way that you're going about allowing your team members and the people part of the team to more or less utilize their own creativity and bring their own own ideas and creative thoughts to the table, and for those to be noticed in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like, the more creativity you allow people to flourish with, the more unique and the more fun, in a way, the experience will be overall, because you're allowing people to enjoy doing what they do and enjoy doing what they do best at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And it's really nice to see. And I'm a big fan of doing work that way also with our team over here at the Alt Kings. Simply put it, we allow people on our team to utilize their creativity to the fullest. And it's the best way of operating, because one, they'll enjoy their job, but two, they'll feel as if their words actually heard, and they're not necessarily just only being told what to do. They get to do what they want also. And it's nice to see.
And exactly, it creates this like creative mindset in which like people, because they have an idea, they suggest it, and we say, okay, it's good. So like they move forwards, and it becomes their idea, their project, their project. And so like they want to do everything that is feasible so that their own project go through, all the way through. And so that's pretty important. And I think we've learned a lot from again, I've been working with Neil closely for the last 4 years with like different people with our previous games. And we've learned a lot from this experience, how to build games, but also as how to conduct, a studio. I think that when we first started, Neil and I, we had, a very strict, ideas of what we wanted to do, and people who were working for us and with us, we're like embarking on our ideas. And right now, things that we are like so many things to handle with the community, the funding, the development, recruitment. And so right now, when it comes to the game, and we know that our team members, they have more experience than us, definitely, and they are way more talented. And so we definitely give them this sense of freedom, and it's create this positive circle. And it's amazing, because sometimes, we have this like a team meeting once a week where we can see some updates either on the project, on the new legends, or any cool ideas. And sometimes we have some ideas that we were not prepared for. Say, oh my God, how did you came up with that? That's awesome. And if I was like the one in charge of this like level design or whatsoever, I would definitely not have came up with something as cool and engaging as that. So yeah.
That's incredible. I really like that. So you have a very structured team. There's a lot of creativity that flows throughout the team. I'm curious now, you have a storyline backing this mobile game. Can we dive into that a little bit? I know that it's very vast and very, very spread out, and you have so many different, intertwining storylines that play along with it once you release more characters. But can you give us a brief rundown of how this storyline plays out from the beginning and where we are now?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, all of it, happened in the heaven of legends. All the people that have shaped history in a positive way are gathered in this heaven of legends. And so quickly, people were like very happy. But yeah, eventually people noticed that if everyone was legendary, ultimately no one was legendary. And so like since those like legendary people all have like these like big egos, and they were like, oh no, I'm the one who have shaped history, and Gandhi was saying, no, I was the one who made a dent in the history whatsoever. And so progressively, like Daedalus, and Leonardo da Vinci, they both created this legend arena so that legends could now finally compete against each other in a friendly manner, because they are battling against each other, but they're not killing each other. They are already in the heaven of legends, so they are not dying. They could get sleepy and then come back to the arena. And so now people are just fighting to become the ultimate legend amongst the legend as a way to rank themselves.
How many legends will there end up being throughout the whole entire game?
Well, this is confidential. I cannot say right now, but
okay.
enough so that people have fun while we start the game, but not too much so that it's actually achievable and people can actually it will
gotcha.
Exactly.
Nice. Makes sense. So, but one thing I know, so we might not necessarily know how many legends there will be, but each legend, there will be 1,000 per legend, correct?
Not exactly. We are a free-to-play video game, meaning that our game is not token-gated. And I think it's something in which we are different from other games, other Web3 games, meaning that you won't need an NFT to play. You'll simply see an ad of our game in the, Paris subway, say, okay, it's a cool game. I try it out, I download it on the Play Store or App Store, and then progressively I'll embark on this journey. And when it comes to the 1,000 NFT that you are referring per legends, it's a premium experience. But again, we are creating tokenomics and a reward loop that at the same time embark Web2 players to play for the thrill of the game, and progressively some of them will understand that there are some people that are actually making money to play to earn, because they are managed to get those artifacts that are very strong and powerful and that are trading it to other players. And you also have some people that are in the legend committees. What is a legend committee? And that's where the NFTs come from. So we'll be selling this year 1,000 NFT of Clios. Those 1,000 NFT of Clios are the 1,000 seats in the Clio committee. And if you are in the Clio committee, you have some governance, and some financial rewards, meaning that governance, you are electing some representative for weekly and monthly tournaments. Because what's important is we are a Web3 game that will reward with our native token our gamers, but not on a daily basis like some games would do, but for tournaments. So weekly and monthly basis, we do big tournaments, and each legend committee will elect some representative. So Clio elect 5 Clio players. So could be anyone who play with Clio, could be a free-to-play player, so someone that is not from the committee, or someone from the committee who represent the team, just like an esport tournament of like a Clash Royale or a Call of Duty. And those players will represent the team. And if Clio win the tournament, well, then all the members of the Clio committee, just like shareholders, will receive some earnings in LOP. And so that's why I think it's important, and that's our main focus, is to actually, because we have the team and resource to build a gameplay that could attract millions of players for a long time. And so we want to have a tokenomics and a reward loop that at the same time is sustainable over time. So that's why Web2 players embark for free, are having fun for free. Some of them will grind all the way through earning the strong artifacts to actually make money out of it. Some players who want to become the representative because they want to participate in the tournament to make money, or some people who will want to be part of the legend committee to have this governance to participate in the polls, the elections, and also get the rewards during the events. So we have Web2 players, members of the committee. We have people who are making money because they are getting strong artifacts, and we have a last category of players. We call them the legend followers. This is something new, something that we are creating, and I think doesn't really exist in other Web3 games. Is we are creating a real bridge, a direct, simple and easy bridge between Web2 players and Web3 members, because ultimately becoming a member of Clio committee is going to be highly expensive because you have governance and LOP rewards. And so if you enter the game for free, you won't have maybe the budget to participate and to buy this highly sought after NFTs to become a Clio committee member. However, you can become a Clio follower. What's that? Is if you want to have some reward, so like some gems and some goals or some fragment of artifact, a cool way to do that is to buy some LOP, not that much, could be like $5 or $10 worth of LOP, and you would stack it in the vault of the Legend Committee. So the idea is now I pledge my allegiance to like Clio and say I'm a follower of Clio, but like this, I'm not a member of the committee per se, so I won't have the LOP rewards, but I have some gaming rewards, and progressively it's a first step into like going through this ultimate, like experience of becoming a Legend Committee members. And I think we really appreciate, these mechanisms, because on the one hand, it creates a seamless, path for players coming for the game and discovering this cool utility relative to like NFTs, governance, VIP experience in the Legend committees. And at the same time, since to enter this experience, they will be like holding and stacking. This is also like very good for the ecosystem, and people who will receive the LOP, they can cash it out, because you have some people that are actually holding it, stacking it. And so we create this reward loop in which the LOP token is sustainable over time. And if people cash it out, it's absolutely fine.
Nice. That's a lot to digest, but
sorry.
No. It made complete sense. You explained it very well. So there's multiple different various ways that you can play Legends of the Past game. You can integrate, the Web3 aspects. You can just play simply the Web2 aspects, or you can simply just support your favorite legend and just do that alone and, be a part of that community for that legend, and then earn the rewards that bring forth from the legend's winnings, say in a tournament, and then, retain that value from that legend, simply put it, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Nice.
You said it better than I did.
Amazing. Well, it's very fascinating to hear that, and I'd love to dive deeper into that here soon. But what I'm interested in now that we know that you have a very structured team. We know where the storyline kind of plays out with Legends of the Past and what all the aspects are around it. I'd really like to know what inspired the direction behind the artwork and who is doing the art itself, because the art is very fascinating to me. I really like the brush style behind it, and it all really pairs very well together. Do you mind diving into the art a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely, with pleasure. But I think we mentioned that a little bit earlier during the call. All of the art is designed by our art director.
Nice.
So the one who's been like full time with us since last summer, so it's like nearly 1 year since he joined Legend of the Past. But again, all of his like inspiration comes from his previous experiences in those like huge gaming studios. We don't like to name everything, and because we want people to embark on Legend of the Past for the content, and not because our team members used to work at those like great studios,
of course,
work on these like mobile hits. But again, so that's why sometimes we have this not concern, but we are in middle of, okay, on the one hand, we want to attract people to see what we are building because of our like team pedigree. But on the other hand, we'd better want people to like discover, like be under the radar, and people simply discover because, how the gameplay is like engaging and fun, and also how the art is like different. It's something fresh, and something is like Kim always say that, so I'm going to say it less, not as good as him, but he often says that we have to keep it fresh. So whenever we create Clio, it's a fresh version of Clio. That's why she's independent. She's very muscular. And again, and all of our legends are in this touch of freshness. So when it comes to like our marketing, assets, the character of the game, the overall environment, the gameplay, the game feel, I think one of our core mission is to do something that is fresh, because creating a game takes time, and when it's out, we want to create something that people are completely amazed by it.
Yeah, for sure. Makes complete sense. And I really think, and I really like how you take pride in not necessarily telling and trying to promote people's previous experience and their previous work, because there's no necessarily real need to. It's kind of just, saying like, well, we have this guy who's been here and he might be able to do this, but in reality, if he can't even do that, there's no real value of having him.
Exactly.
But all you're basically saying is it's proof within the work itself, and it's definitely already showing within Legends of the Past and the art that's been provided already with Cleo, and as well as seeing some of these other NFTs that you have, like the artifacts.
And you've seen 1%.
Yeah, exactly. Only one.
I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that to show off, but again, we are taking the time and we have prepared many, either it be marketing or the game, itself. We are taking the time so that whenever we release something, it creates a huge a boom, and people say, okay, and they are absolutely amazed by the quality and the fun coming from this experience. So stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned indeed. There's a lot to be made. I can already see it. It's clear within just this simple conversation that we're having today. I'd love to dive now into the competitor's analysis. I know that there's 2 different scenarios that you play out within your white paper. You mind diving into how this will work for the holders?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the white paper, when we mention those 2 scenarios, we are talking about competitors and explaining that we're not a token gated game, because some games you need an NFT to enter to play. And so those kind of games and the reward loops that comes out of it, are not sustainable, because basically games programmers, developers are rewarding with crypto players based on the arrival of new players that purchase the NFT to enter. And this loop works in bull market when you have a lot of people coming in at the same time. But as long as your number of new players start to decrease, or slows down, well, you don't have enough budget to reward the current players, and so people will leave over time. So that's why I think we've participated to many a Web3 gaming Web3 conference, NFT Paris, Paris Blockchain Week, and also we've joined the Blockchain Game Alliance with many Web3 games, and we're often discussing with many of our competitors. And it's crazy because we think that we see right now that there are very little games that are actually taking into account what has happened in the last 2 years. Because I think Axie paved the way from a new genre of video game, and that was amazing. And honestly, without Axie, we won't be there. We or many other Web3 games won't be here at the moment. But I think that right now a lot of people are simply copying and pasting what Axie has done or other similar competitors. And so that's why in our white paper I wanted to insist is what other games usually do, why it doesn't work. Well, it's our way of thinking, and well, we've seen those games only last 3 to 6 to 9 months, depending on the quality of the gameplay. And so that's why we took the other way around and say, okay, we are starting with free to play, and then when it comes to NFT and rewards, okay, how can we implement it within the game? Whereas many games start from business model and trading NFTs and say, okay, people will trade it, we get some royalties. Okay, now I'm going to implement the game on top of that. And we did it the completely way around, starting with the gameplay, starting with the core loop, what will create retention of the over time only for the game, and then we integrated NFTs and LOP rewards, but as I said, this a premium experience for committees, a legend committee members or people who will trade those artifacts. It's important for us that they will trade it, but only because those artifacts have a real value. Sometimes you can see some Web3 games in which you can see some marketplace that are overflooded with thousands of similar NFTs that all have the same in-game value. And so obviously with the supply and demand mechanisms, those values are getting slim to none. Whereas in our game, simple artifacts are not tradable because everyone can win it in the game, but it's I like to do this comparison. It's in World of Warcraft or in Dofus, those MMORPG, those games. Some people actually sell their account after playing for 2 years, but it makes sense because they have reached a certain level. If you get level 90, people, okay, that worth a lot, and so people are actually willing to pay. But if I sell my Dofus account and I'm level 1, who would pay for that?
That's
I think
true.
Same goes for it's simple, but same goes for NFTs. People will be will want to trade something that has a real value based on gaming utility and scarcity. And it's something that we've integrated in our game. So it won't be easy, and people, not everyone will make money in terms of crypto. It's not a regular play to earn within the game. So players who want to do some quick profit after 2 days don't play LOP because it's not going to happen. However, real gamers that have that will progress throughout the game, they will be the one who will actually mint and create very strong and powerful artifacts. We are not selling them. All of the artifacts are created within the game. And so whenever you are the one that create the like strongest version of Excalibur, for instance, you will be the one who have like something that is unique. No one in the game have it. And so you can sell it to someone else, for a lot of money because it has a real gaming value. And so our positioning of how to embark players gathering and keeping with free-to-play mechanisms to embark players for like just the game and this reward loop, and then offering rewards for either the premium experience with the committee or for like skilled players that manage to get their hand of powerful artifacts. That's how we are gathering all those kind of mechanisms. And so that's why on the white paper, I started with like saying by simply stating what we're not going to do in order to explain what we are building right now. Because I think the space is very new. A lot of people, and sometimes, I'm discussing with many Web3 games, and many people are, like inspired by other games, and people need to like put your like hand in the tokenomics deep down. And for instance, like, I'm going to be honest, when we started, to imagine the tokenomics, at first we were like directly like inspired by other like successful Web3 games. We wanted to do some breeding features like NFTs, breeding more NFTs. But then when we run it into Excel and we draw, like the old, database and database, of the supply, and we see that it's not visible because if you increase the supply over time, well, eventually the price will go down. And so why would someone enter like on day one if your NFT is going to be worth less 10 days, 1 month from now? And so anyway, we started by doing what others were doing, and then we understood some stuff. And so we were challenged by our token advisor. We are working with two separate independent token advisors regarding the gaming tokenomics who are helping us developing what we are doing, who have challenged us and like what we are doing. So again, it's not perfect. We still have to work with market makers to be sure that it's sustainable over time, but it's going in the right direction. It's unique because at the moment we don't see something that is similar in the way we are rewarding with committees and the play to earn with artifact.
Tokenomics can be difficult. From my personal experience as well, it's just so complex to figure out the best way of going and sustaining longevity within whatever vision you have set out for the token itself. And I mean, majority of tokens need that longevity to survive as a token.
Exactly.
I'm curious how to know. So you have your own token, the LOP token, but you also have gold and gems that are also integrated. I'm assuming that the gold and the gems are integrated on the Web 2 aspect, just on the mobile aspects of things. And then the LOP, and I think I might have saw something in regards to the gems being integrated within the Web 3 aspects. You mind talking in regards to those?
Yeah, exactly. So the gold is it's a soft currency. It's because as we said earlier, only like when you create and when you mint when you earn a level 1 Excalibur, so an artifact within the game, you'll be able to trade it to other players, but not on secondary marketplace. It's going to be now like within the game, so you'll trade it to other players with gold, and the gold is not attached to it's not convertible, it's not tradable in other tokens. Like this, people will actually trade some artifacts for the gaming utility, not to make profit. And it's only when you reach a certain level of in those artifacts that you can later on trade it, on secondary marketplace, but it will not be tradable in LOP. It will be tradable in HBAR on secondary marketplace. So that, again, because we don't want to have, if our LOP is like too volatile, people will not want to trade those artifacts because the value is like too volatile. So again, the two tokens, the gold and the gem, they all have a direct utility within the game. So to trade the NFTs, and the gem is useful to create the artifact, to mint it so you can use it. And it will be useful to like level up your level of artifact and also level up your level of your legends. So, and then the LOP, that's the native, HBAR token, in which you are like, minted, on Hedera. That will be able to be, of course, tradable in other tokens, and that it's this one that has governance utility. You are spending it to level up your level of committee. You are spending it if you want to convert it and to become a legend followers, to have this gaming rewards, and to pledge legends to this to become a legend followers. So we have this different kind of mechanism where we have tokens that have utility only within the game, so that players are having fun. And welcoming like Web2 players. If they don't have enough gem to level up to level of artifact, Web2 players could buy some gems with in-app purchase. People who are not familiar with Web3 don't understand what it is. And that's why, this concept of creating those legend followers is something that we find interesting. Is some Web2 players will enter, some of them, because you'll be able to get some gems in the game. But like if you want to go faster, you can spend a little bit to get more. But what we want to achieve is some Web2 players will spend at first like $2 to like get 10 gems. And then they will understand, okay, what if instead of spending $2 in-app purchase, I embark on this, like Web3 journey, I hold some LOP and I stack it. And if I stack it, I will then get some gems, as a yield. And so the idea is to create those mechanisms so that players on their own understand that there are simply like two ways of getting the gems, three ways. Either you play the game sufficient, either you spend some in-app purchase, or either you hold and stack some LOP in the legend committee and you get it, as a yield on a monthly basis. And the idea is to control those mechanisms so that players say, okay, why would I spend something and I don't get my money back? Whereas if I get some LOP, I can at the same time hold it, have some yield in gems and golds, and later on I still have my LOP because it's mine. And this is how we are taking Web2 players by the hand. And we want to make them feel the power of Web3 and to hold something that is yours, whether it be an NFT or a fungible token, such as the LOP.
And you also want to make sure that there's possible ways of onboarding those Web2 players to Web3 by, providing higher rewards to the Legends holders, as well as just other unique, valuable ways of getting those Web2 users who are going to be much greater than, say, the Web3 users integrated into Web3 in whatever way, shape, or form you possibly can to really, build more scarcity within the NFTs that you have circulating, as well as not only build scarcity, but, potentially rise the floor price of those NFTs also down the line as more mass adoption comes to Legends of the Past.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how we are implementing it.
Well, that's incredible. I know that you have a couple different various NFTs within your collection so far. Obviously, you have your Legends, and the Legend that you've released to date is Cleo, soon to come many more. You have your Infinity Jar, your Artifacts, and your Heaven Keys. You mind which one out of all three, the Infinity Jar, the Artifacts, and the Heaven Keys, which one will yield you more of a return, say, of the token, the LOP token?
It's simple, the Infinity Jar. I think the Infinity Jar is it's not, I think, but it is the most, coveted and most powerful NFTs in Heaven of Legends. Because the Infinity Jar, it's a jar that will always provide what you need. So the Infinity Jar will provide you Heaven Keys. Think of Heaven Keys as simple whitelist spots. If you have a Heaven Key, you can mint, but you can only mint once.
Gotcha.
But if you have the Infinity Jar will always airdrop you a Heaven Key before a mint. So that's perfect. So you'll still have the jar that will provide you. So the Infinity Jar provides you three things. First, it provides a mint utility. So it will give you the Heaven Keys and some discount for future mints. So you have a mint utility. You have a gaming utility because you'll get some weapons, some artifact of the game, and also some gold and some gems. So in-game utility. And last one is financial utility, because if you have the Infinity Jar, you will also get some airdrop of LOP. And so the strongest artifact is definitely the Infinity Jar, because the Infinity Jar is what provides you either discount, access, in-game tokens, all of the great utility that you will need. So if you want to embark in our journey, owning a jar is highly valuable because it will be sure that you will participate in everything, and it also will give you some airdrops, and you'll receive some airdrop. If you are a jar bearer, you will receive your first airdrop actually this week. It will be announced on Twitter in a couple of minutes.
Nice. That's exciting. So to get the Infinity Jar, you have to have a Heaven Key. And how would you obtain one of these Heaven Keys? And before you answer that, simply put it, these Heaven Keys are basically, like you said, the whitelist to obtain other NFTs and other pieces of value relating to the game.
Exactly. So one Heaven key is one guaranteed whitelist spot. If you have one Heaven key, you'll be able to participate in 1 minute. So right now we are hosting some quests in our Discord and in Twitter. So we do it on our own, but we're also doing some collaboration with other HBAR projects. So we are giving some Heaven keys to other projects. We've done that with DeadPixel. We are doing it also with After Dark Social Club.
I was about to say, yes, After Dark. Yeah, that's a new collab.
Yeah, and we are also we are already prepared future collabs in the next following weeks. And so if you want to get the Heaven keys, there are 2 ways. Well, 3 ways actually. First way is you participate, in our Discord, in our quest, and you hope to be selected. But if you're here enough, you'll find a way. People, if you want a Heaven key in our Discord, you'll manage to get one. First thing. Second thing is participating, in other collabs giveaways. And the last one is if you're not lucky in our Discord or in other collabs, you can still buy it on secondary market because some people already have the jar or want to sell those NFT because they were lucky enough. So you can also buy it on secondary sale.
Incredible. Who knows? Maybe we'll have an Alt Kings collaboration down the line. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. That would be cool.
That would be very cool. I'm curious, and this is kind of my last question, since we've kind of really went over everything that's within the white paper, as well as much more that goes deeper outside of the white paper. Where do you see the near future of Legends of the Past? And what can we expect as, potential investors, potential holders, and potential people who are just simply interested in the mobile game within these next few months?
Yeah. So I think we spent more than 1 year and a half already building the pre-production. So defining the art, the gameplay. A lot of time was under the radar. We were on Twitter watching what was happening on the space, but we only opened the Twitter account in late October. But anyway, so in the following months, now that we are not in pre-production but in production mode, actually accelerating in the production of the game, you'll see some sneak peeks of the legend, some sneak peeks of the game, some marketing materials. I'm not going to say what it is, but you'll see some cool stuff. So related to the game and to the IP. And you'll have also the opportunity to participate in becoming a first Legend committee member, a first Clio committee member when we do the sale of Clio this year.
Nice. Well, that's exciting, and I look forward to it. I need to get my hands on some of these keys because it doesn't seem as if you guys are stopping anytime soon, and I feel as if the quality of product that you guys will continue to provide will only get more scarce and even more better than what it is today. And so, Basile, with that being said, thank you for taking the time once again to come on the Alt Kings podcast. And if there's anything else you'd like to close out on, now would be the time to do so. Thank you once again for showing up today and providing all this great information for everybody who's out there interested.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be invited, pleasure to have this wonderful conversation and tell you more about LOP. So again, we are very, very happy to have this momentum at the moment, whether it be regarding to the project or the development of the game, the prototype already, but also this cool momentum that we have with our community, those cool collaboration, and we feel how the HBAR community is sticking together, helping each other out, especially in these difficult times in the recent events. And so, yeah, we are here in the long run. We are here to stay. We are here to build something very cool and to attract a lot of gamers and investors on Hedera over time. So stick with us, and it's going to be a long journey and a fun journey together.
And I'll be here with you. Ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you all next episode. Peace.